Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Dating Diaries with Raquel and Brittany.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate the applause. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
We got one of our guests back.
Yes, we do.
Who do we have back?
We have the lovely Savannah.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
Well, I'm so glad you're here. And I think that today your input is going to be very much valued because we want to hear. And what is our topic today?
You tell us. This is your deal now.
No, this is not my deal. This is
your
all
deal?
of our deals.
Okay, what's our deal then?
So our deal is today we're going to be talking about. I have to take a deep breath. We're going to be talking about culture and how it shapes our relationships. And when I say culture, I'm talking about the culture that we were born and raised in. So everybody here, you know, even though we may or may not come from the same culture, that really, you know, sticks with us and makes us view love and dating and relationships in different ways. And that's what I want to talk about today. How do you feel about that?
Love it.
Love
How
it.
about those apples?
How about them apples?
Oh, is that how it goes? Oh, gosh. I always mess those up. Whatever.
It don't matter.
No, that was very proper. How do you feel about those apples?
Very particular apples we're talking about today.
Yeah, I like them apples. They're very ripe, very red.
You like the ripe red ones?
I like the ripe, shapely red ones. Yes, thank you. Nice and firm.
Firm.
So who would like to start today?
Well, you're going to be our fearless leader.
Fearless.
Or if I'm going to be fearless, then I'm going to choose somebody.
Well, as much as you're picking on me this whole week and last couple
Let's
weeks.
pick on you because, you know,
Oh,
I
crap.
swear.
Pick.
So tell
Pick on
us,
those ripe apples.
tell us, Mr. Raw Dog, how do you feel about the way you were raised and how that has impacted how you view relationships?
Oh my God.
Is it too much?
No, it is a lot to consider. So
Then consider it.
let me.
Hurry up.
Okay, oh my God.
Wait, why are you stuttering?
I'm not stuttering.
You're taking too long to answer.
Well, I'm pulling a Raquel right now. I'm processing.
Okay.
I'm thinking. I want to know how my
Wow,
feelings
okay.
are coming in. So if you want to move on with somebody else, you can, and then come back to me. I'm
Do
fine
your
with that.
feelings come out of your nipples?
Apparently.
Why are you rubbing
Why are you
them?
massaging your nipples?
Have you not ever massaged your nipples? You don't know how relaxing it can be.
That is how he processes information.
That's right.
All right.
As people talk, if you see me play with my nipples, you know I'm thinking
He's-
about it really hard.
He's thinking deep.
I'm like, don't process, please.
Okay.
Not in front of us. It's not,
All right. So
not a pretty picture.
So my culture, I am Mexican American. I was born in California, and I was raised around very many different types of people and everything. And I think
So you were raised in two cultures?
I would say I was raised in several cultures because there was the Mexican culture, and then there was also a very predominant white culture in my early years. And then there was also the black culture and so on and so forth. So everything kind of affected us.
That's right. LA was multicultural.
Yeah.
So you were infused.
Yeah, so
And all that.
I view things very, very differently. Like you could even see it in my family. I have a sister that's married to an Egyptian. I have a sister that was married to a Peruvian. I have let's see, my nephew is married to a girl from India. I have a nephew that's also married to just different cultures. I mean, it's just so. I mean, we're very accepting of everything, and to a certain extent, as long as it's not disrespectful, I think I was more brought up to judge the person as they treat me and respect me versus, oh, well, you do that, that's weird, and I'm not doing that, so I'm out. So, and I'm willing to try things once or twice, and if I don't like it, I'm going to tell you I don't like it.
So, but okay. So my question to you is that first culture, that first cultura that raised you was the Latino culture, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the first one.
Yeah.
Tell me something positive about that culture that you learned through it that helped you develop a healthy relationship now.
I'm going to say, just from watching my parents, my mom was the submissive, typical Mexican woman that followed the man, and my father was the strong, macho man that he was supposed to be. And I saw what my mom and dad went through together. I mean, the one thing I can say is that they stuck it out thick and thin through tough times and not. I mean, it was brutal at times, but they stuck it out until the bitter end, even until my dad passed. And my mom, after that, didn't even consider dating or doing anything after that.
Oh, wow.
And that was the love she still has for him still comes out every now and then. And that just tells me a lot. If you really love that person, you're going to go through hell and back, and you're going to accept the bullshit, which a lot of us nowadays won't do it. I know I won't do it. If you start disrespect me, you start putting me where I'm not wanted, I'm going to open the door and just leave. So there it is.
Wow. Okay. So,
But I think the reason why they didn't leave is because they didn't have many options back then. It often was more, you pretty much were going to struggle pretty significantly if you were not under a man's.
Yep.
yeah, especially with a female.
Yes, because,
Yeah.
opportunities to get jobs was very minimal to women. So I think when I say when women during those times were staying because things were really bad, it's because there was no other opportunities. So they kind of had to just deal with it.
Well, when it comes to that, my mom and dad both brought an equal amount of money to the house. They both worked very, very hard. I can tell you right now, I would not be the person that I am if it wasn't for how they raised me. Sometimes it was very tough love. Other times it was very endearing, and that changed every time. But you know what? I'm who I am. I'm proud of who I am, and I'm happy that I couldn't pick any better parents than what God chose for me.
So let me ask you, do you think that there's something that was taught within your culture that now you look back at it and you say, you know what, I'm never going to do this when I get into a relationship?
Yeah, treating a woman like an object. You tell me that that's not true in most Latino cultures. They look at their woman as, this is my
Property.
reward. Yeah, my award, my person. This is who belongs to me. They don't realize that she's an individual and she has her own inspirations, her own things, and they don't know that they're supposed to help and support and nurture that as well. So yeah, absolutely. I will never see a woman as an object.
Oh, that is awesome.
Amen.
That's something that you saw, that you gauged, you captured, and you're like, I'm not going to do this to any woman, So, bravo for you, Mr.
Can I just tell a quick story?
Yeah,
and then I'm done. So I went to go visit Guadalajara years and years and years ago.
Wait. Guadalajara, excuse me.
Excuse you. This is my story, and I can say it.
Mexico.
Look at that.
Oh my
Excuse me.
God.
You speak Spanish.
Can I just say
bilingual.
my story how I want to
Do
say
you
it?
speak Spanish?
Can I say my story
you
how I
speak
want to say it? No,
Spanish?
I want to say my story.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So I was in Guadalajara.
Oh,
That
there it is
hurts.
again.
Yeah.
No, I just did that on purpose now because you pissed me off.
Translation, Guadalajara.
Anyways, and this is why I'm telling you about the object thing. I was walking down the street with some cousins of mine. We were talking and everything. And all of a sudden, there's this guy literally wailing on this woman. I mean, wailing on her. And she's trying to block these hits. I run up on the guy, push him out of the way, help her get up. And she looks at me straight in the eye and says, why did I stop her?
Oh, no.
And I said, well, he was hurting you. She's like, that's how he shows his love towards me.
Oh, wow.
At that point, I was like, well, maybe I should get in a couple good licks. I literally just looked at the guy and I said, have at it, bye.
And you left.
Wow.
And did they continue?
I don't know. I just walked away, man. I was like, I just was dumbfounded. Dumbfounded.
Yeah, that's true. that is the way that they, I guess, were brought up, and that's normal to them.
Yep.
Oh, that's actually interesting. You know, our culture, also teaches us, you know, what should be normal, you know, for us, and then for other people, it may not be normal. Is there something for you,
Savannah.
Savannah?
That's right.
That's
Savannah?
me. That's me.
It's Savannah, but in
Savannah?
Spanish,
Savannah.
Savannah. What?
Guadalajara.
Or Brittany, is there something that you guys think that may that you were raised and you thought it was normal, but then as you got older you realized, no, this is not normal, it's something that I was taught within this culture? Is there anything that comes to mind? Like,
Not necessarily. I think it's a change more so in times and mindset that changes with time. So, for example, my mom is super, super traditional. So my dad always ate first, you know, and then everyone would eat after. And so it's just a super, I think it's more of an antiquated mindset. And I think as each generation gets a little bit more and more progressive and you know, even Raw Dog is talking about, you know, now we are a family of many nations. It's like NATO over there. It's a shift in mindset, I think, too, with generations. So I think of it as more sort of old school versus new school. And I think many cultures across, you know, races share some of those old school type of values where it's very male centered and man first. And so I definitely grew up in that environment where my mom was doing all the housework, all the cooking and child rearing, and my dad was kind of like, yeah, I'm the man. And that was it. But he did do all like the man stuff, building stuff, fixing plumbing. So shout out to him for that.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I mean that's a thing that we have to consider. Is like, yeah, do we want to be outside, you know, building houses and stuff, or do you want to be inside cooking?
I want to be building.
You wanna
It's a lot of fun.
building. Did you build stuff when you were a kid?
You know, my brothers were kind of like just doing their own thing. They were really into sports, and so I was the person that would always help my dad build. And so I was really glad it gave me an opportunity to learn the difference between like a Phillips screwdriver and a flathead, like the basic type of shit that you should know.
Oh,
And so
fun.
like it really empowered me as a woman, and then I was able to segue that into like really doing housing renovations and feeling confident about it in my early 20s. I was like,
that is awesome.
you're not going to get one over on me. I know what the hell I'm doing here. I can plumb this myself. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hand me that torch.
I mean, if only parents or dads would see that, you know what, their daughters are capable of doing that kind of stuff, you know. I mean, the sky's the limit. I mean, there's so many things that we are able to do, but sometimes, you know, the parent, the culture, they think that, oh no, we belong in the kitchen, we belong, you know, rearing the babies, and you know, and that is true. We are good at that, but we are good at so much more, you know. So so that's awesome that you know, they don't just put us in one little box. So Miss Brittany, I was going to ask you, what would you like to share about?
Well, my upbringing was very traditional, similar to what Savannah was saying. The dad did the work and he provided financially versus the mother did the cooking, cleaning. And, you know, I felt like I was very, I don't know, is that the right words, progressive, new, you know, the mind shift where, no, I want to be working to contribute financially. But I feel like, I know when I say it's going to sound horrible, but I think there's a really good reason why we were supposed to be doing the child rearing.
Why do you say that?
For sure.
And why we have certain roles.
Tell me, explain.
Okay, so this is like super not, it's people are gonna be like, no, that's not true, whatever, but there's a reason. Okay, so when children are born, women bring the security, that safety, that attachment, that healthy attachment that when they get older, they're going to be continuing to be able to, I guess, what's the word? They're going to be able to function better. Versus a male can't do that. They have a different type of function when it comes to being part of the family dynamic. But I think things been so industrial that we've been sold some BS story that women could do it all. You should be out in the workforce, and we've kind of broke our families apart because the mom is either the kids in daycare. Daycare's not really good for kids. It really isn't. There's a ton of research about it. They have actually done a longevity research about kids in daycare and how they're older and how that increases their mental health issues, the attachment issues. But we've been told and we've been sold that, yeah, we should be out there working. We should be doing all these things. And, yeah, it's okay. Just put the kid in daycare or whatever. But I think there's a reason why things were the way they were before.
Can I just ask, what's the difference between daycare and preschool? Or is there a difference?
So preschool is when they are 3 and older. 3 to 4, they get to go to preschool. Daycare is when they're little, like 3 and younger. You can put them into daycare.
Okay.
But they say that the synapses in your brain start connecting when you are baby. Like when you're at 3 years old, you're still making some of those connections, but this is the time where your brain is pruning. It's starting to shed some of those.
You start asking questions like, why is mommy leaving me here?
Well, I think so. I feel like we've been told that, preschool, it's a good way to help your kids socialize, but it really isn't. So I think there is a reason why we should be staying home and why the dad should be doing the providing financial when the child is really little, because you should be the one helping raise. You should be the one providing those healthy connections in the brain, because from birth all the way up to 5 are when they make the most strongest connections. And they've shown that if you meet their needs and you are the primary provider that is constantly there with the child, when your child gets older in adulthood, they are going to have a better the amygdala. Okay, so I'm trying not to go into too much science.
Really brain
but
science.
what I'm saying is that your outcome as an adulthood will be better if your childhood you had those safety you had that safety net.
But you're a better well-adjusted adult.
Yes.
Does it have to be the mom though?
It does.
Because I've heard of men also, wanting to have that role, and actually they
so the
are
testosterone
successful.
level goes down for men. They are caring for the child because women have more of that nurturing piece of it. So there is some studies done where men and women change the roles, but it's just there's a reason why women are the ones
better at it,
bearing the child, carrying the child. It's so
we were built for it.
We really are. Our bodies, our brains, everything. We are there to protect the child versus the male is more to protect the family from others.
So
from danger.
So when I go back to
tigers,
my culture, I do truly think that my mom was traditional. Sounds great to me. Like there was a reason why things were the way they were, and now we're so I don't know the word's progressive, or we're thinking differently now. We have literally shifted so significantly that I'm like, we forgot.
But
the old ways weren't bad.
Yeah.
Well, some of them weren't bad. That woman getting beat up on the street was bad.
So
well, women still get beat though.
Well, yeah.
Now it's inside their home.
Yeah.
I mean, the beating doesn't change no matter what time frame.
Well, I think, and this, I think this is something that has never ended. You can go back to the 20s and this was happening. It's your financial standpoint of where you are and what you can do at the time. And I think everybody tries to do the best with what they have. So if you have very little, you're going to try and do whatever you can and give that child the most you can, and that's it. I've criticized a few of my nephews that have kids, and I've told them, this and this and this, but I'm not in their shoes, and I don't know what they're going through. It's easy for me to say, oh, well, you should just be doing this. Yeah, but who's going to then do this? Who's going to do that? Single parents. You were a single mom. You absolutely, you had it rough, and you set some really strong examples for your daughter.
But if I could have done different,
if
I know what I know now,
absolutely,
I would not. I would have done it differently. For
absolutely.
Sure.
But what I'm saying is, you went through the motions and you did the best thing, and you got a great human being out of it at the in the end, and you did the best. That's it. That's the bottom line. And those circumstances will never change because it all depends on people make mistakes. There's going to be an oopsie somewhere out there, and this kid is going to be born, and guy might run away, or he may stay, or the woman might run away, and the guy keeps.
But sometimes we make the choice.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean? I'm not trying to criticize.
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm just saying that we have come so far from a middle ground that now it's like, you have two parents working because income, money, for whatever reason. You could downsize. Materialistic stuff has been, you could downsize. You don't have to have two people working if you're in a relationship, I guess.
I agree.
When did you think?
Definitely think they need more than they actually need, and they've convinced themselves they have to have these.
Yeah.
things.
Oh my gosh. Yes, we have
And
convinced ourselves.
It's all extras, and it's all like crazy consumer.
No, I agree with you. But okay, what decade do you think all this started?
I mean, I remember in the 2000s I was hearing that message of,
Would you be surprised if I told you that this message has also been in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s?
The message might have been there, but I don't know that people were investing in it as heavily as they are now.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's major keeping up with the Joneses, and I'm sorry, but that's social media, and people post in, and they're like, "Ooh, I'm in Bali," all that extra stuff. I think it's just definitely shined a spotlight on, or created a sense in people that you have to have this, or you're not living right.
That's very true.
You were going to say something, yeah.
No, I'm just listening to everybody talk, and what I'm hearing is that gender influences culture, and the culture, evolves from there, depending on what the needs are, what every family unit is thinks is best for their family. That is what is done. I do believe that yes, that the mother needs to be with a child, and needs to be raised, with a child. Actually, with both parents, but each parents have a different role. I truly believe that. With my family, in my experience, there was a lot of good things that happened in my family, things that I learned, but there's a lot of things that I wish, was not part of the mentality, the culture. One thing that I do not approve of and I don't like is and I think you touched on it, Raw Dog, is the men seeing the women as, you don't have a voice, you're the object.
I don't know why you're saying something.
Like I remember like my father seeing me as property. I love my father, but that's how sometimes he made me feel. Like I am not here to, for someone to hear me. I'm just here to be, to do what I'm told, and that sadly is part of the culture, part of the Latino culture, and part of me growing up rebellious is because I wanted to be heard. I wanted to go to college because I wanted to prove to everybody that I am worth something, and I want to be independent. And then when I did get out there, I got my little job and I was doing my thing, I realized that all I wanted to do is be a mom. And I wanted to get married, and I wanted to be taken care of, and all that
Don't
good
we
stuff.
all, honey?
So It's just, but I mean, it's so interesting how, you're out to set, your life, and then you kind of fall back on the roles that you were raised with. And it's interesting that that's the way it happens. And now I'm in a place in my life where all I want is to find a good man. And I also want to, and it's interesting because I want to fall back into the roles of, I want to take care of you. Like when you get home, I want to cook him some dinner. I want to do all that. I'm going to, I want to see, like my mom, what she did to, one of the things that she did to show my dad that she loved him is that when he would come home, he would sit down and my mom would serve him. She wouldn't serve us. It's like, you guys can serve yourself. But she took care of my father. And I'm like, Mom, why do you have to do that? Why are you always serving my father when he comes home? The food is there. He can do it. It's like, no, it's like, this is the way I show love to him, And I'm just like, wow, that is so sweet, So now that's what I want. I want to find someone that I want to, do those cute little things with. You
hear that, gentlemen? You hear that? She's
I know.
looking for someone to keep.
I'm an independent woman.
She's a great cook.
I'm a, I don't need someone to take care of me, but I want to find someone that I can do those things with, So anyways, yes, and I am a good cook, so.
She is.
So it's come full circle. Like, you don't have to serve that man, but you want to as an act of love. And your culture shaped that in you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My culture shaped that in me. Yeah. It shaped a little heart in me. And that's what I want to do is I want to like take care of him, show him the love through those traditional ways.
Shout out to you. Get it yourself.
Shout
Plates over there.
out.
I am not getting that thing out the cabinet. It is. You know where they are located.
That is so cute.
Serve yourself.
No, but listen to this. I'll cook, but I want him to clean.
Oh, little modern, little old with the new.
Yeah,
Old with the
because
new.
I hate washing dishes. So, like, you know what? I'll do you a nice little feast, but you clean. It's
You
okay.
queen.
Yeah, so that's my thing.
I like that.
All
You
right.
like that? So, does anybody else have any other comments or?
No.
Well, I think we are getting to that moment now where
Aw.
we have to go home now, people. Thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you for being here.
Good night, everybody. Serve yourself.
Good night. Thank you for joining Daily Diaries with Raquel and Brittany.
Good night.